All right, let's finish up the Robert trilogy, soon to be a quadrilogy, as I said before. The fourth one is in post-production now. One thing that I really like about this series that Andrew Jones, the writer and director of this, he's done all four of these now. You know, he wrote and directed all of them, so this is his baby, and he's taking it home. This movie is set in 1941 Nazi Germany. I mean, I don't know if that was a choice because he really liked Inglourious Bastards or because the Puppet Master series went in that direction. I say that because this movie has a lot of elements of the Inglourious Bastards in it that he is, either doing an homage to or lifting or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to say it's a ripoff, but it has a lot of similar beats going on within it. And it's weird because it's like, this is such an odd step to take. Like, let's do a prequel set in Nazi Germany. And then the fourth one that's, in post-production right now, it's the same thing. It's being set right after this movie. I mean, this movie will lead into it. It ends where the next one begins. I guess it's Nazis on a train trying to get Robert, or the book. I'm not sure which. Now, this movie is about a toy maker that comes in possession of this book that the Nazis are after that can bring inanimate objects back, to life, not back from anything. They're inanimate objects. I have to commend this filmmaker and this film itself for being so ambitious. I mean, when you have no budget, this movie might have had a little bigger budget than the last two, but not a ton. And it was still this is the story I want to tell. I want to set this in Nazi Germany. I only have 7 actors. I only have very minimal locations. And I'm just gonna fucking do it. And I just, I have to give my hat off to the guy for going for it, So, as I said, there is a lot of Inglourious Basterds stuff going on here. And one of the main things is that this movie opens with a family who's hiding out this guy who's on the run from him. He has the book in his possession. And they have the Nazis coming to their house a couple times. And there's this SS captain guy, and he has these long monologues of him just talking about how, what people are like rats and stuff like that. So it's very Hans Landa from Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. I mean, there's a lot of the same beats. The girl's running across the lawn, and the SS captain is pointing his gun at her, is trying to aim at her. She's running away. And then, the guy's hiding up in the attic, and he shoots up there after, the other guys have exposed him without his knowledge, basically. So, as I said, a lot of stuff. And there's a little bit more, but, that's the gist of it. Now, another thing that I was not surprised about, because I kind of figured this was going to happen, but the serious tone, again, I have to compare this to Child's Play because it's a doll movie. And, all doll movies are going to be compared to Child's Play because anytime you have a subgenre, whether it be a shark movie, it's Jaws. Whether it be an exorcism movie, it's The Exorcist. If it's a doll movie, it's Child's Play. So you can't help but compare it. By the third Chucky movie, the third Child's Play movie, they had brought in a funny edge to it. Now, Chucky had always had humor to him, but the third one is where it started to kind of get humorous, and then Bride of Chucky was just full-on horror comedy. But third one has a decent amount more comedy than the first two. The first one is pretty much all serious. The second one has a little bit of comedy from Chucky, and the third one starts to be almost a half and half blend where Chucky becomes a comedian half the time. And I'm a big fan of the series. I haven't disliked any of them. I know a lot of people hate Seed, but I even enjoy that one. So with this one being its third film, you thought like maybe eventually they would kind of go in more silly of a tone, and they didn't. And I doubt the fourth one will either. I think they're just going for a straight, serious tone to this whole thing. And I think that is what, I will talk about first in my likes, is that I liked the drama. Now, this isn't really a killer doll movie almost at all. This, you're like 40 minutes in before Robert's even seen. And he honestly is only in this movie for like 2 to 3 minutes, like screen time. So this is almost completely like a Nazi Germany drama. Weird, right? And somehow it works for the most part. As I said, this is one of those things. It's like, if you didn't like the first one, you're not going to like the second. You're not going to like the third. Like, if you enjoy the first, you'll probably enjoy the second, and you'll probably enjoy the third. This has a very similar tone, flow to it. They're not going to get any better or any worse. To me, they're almost all equal. Like, I think they get a little better each time. So I've enjoyed the series, definitely. I'm glad that I own it. I'm glad that I watched it. Would I recommend it to anybody? No, because this is such a hard thing to recommend. This is the kind of thing that you recommend to somebody and they're like, what the fuck am I watching? What the hell did you recommend me? You have shit taste and stuff. And it's like, I get that. I get people watching this and being like, this is garbage. Absolutely understand it. But this is my opinion. And I think it's pretty good. Now, I like that the opening was tense. It had that Inglourious Basterds feel where the guy is hiding in their house and the Nazis are coming and they're trying to be silent. And there's that, like, are they going to find him? Are they not? That's like the first 20 minutes of this movie at least. And it's fairly tense if you're interested in any of the characters. And I think that yet again, like in the other two, the acting here is mostly good with some few exceptions. This is just a better movie than it should be. Like, as low budgeted as it is, and the subject matter it's at hand here, like Nazis are after like a book that can animate dolls and inanimate objects, like really. And the fact that it's a prequel to the Robert franchise, it was just like, what is this guy thinking taking it here? But it weirdly works because it kind of reminds me of Puppet Master Axis of Evil, which there's going to be 2 of those, and now there's going to be 2 of these prequels set in the Nazi time. So that's what leads me to believe that might be more of a Puppet Master thing, but obviously it took some heavy inspiration from Inglourious Basterds, as I said. But yeah, I mean, that's my likes. And now getting into my dislikes, like I said about the last movie, the makeup here is just terrible. Now, super ultra mega low budget, so I'll forgive it, but it's bad. The Toymaker's makeup is just bad, and it was bad in the last film, but he was barely in it. This time he's in it a ton, and you got to see it a lot, and it's just bad. So you kind of just got to look past that the whole time. The Toymaker is also played by the guy who played the dad in the very first movie. And he will be playing the Toymaker in the next one. And he played the Toymaker for his little cameo in the first one. So this guy will be in all 4 movies. The music in this movie can get a tad repetitive. It's just basically like a 2-second clip on loop when it's in these scenes. Like, it just has that one little thing, and then it's just looped for like the full 3-4 minute scene. And it just drags and it kind of eats at you as it's going. It's like, ugh, I've heard this long enough. It reminds me of old like Nintendo games where they had limited audio and it was just, 1-2 second little track, and then it would just keep repeating and keep repeating and keep repeating. It ate at your mind. When you turned off the console, it's all you would hear in your head for like an hour. It's kind of what happens here. There was barely any Robert in this movie. that was a big bummer. I mean, it's Robert in the Toymaker. I know that it's also being called the Toymaker, but this is a prequel to Robert, so you'd think you'd see Robert more. As the Child's Play movies went on, you get to see Chucky much more. because once it's exposed that it's actually him and that he's... But yet again, same thing with the last couple movies. I was hoping that this wouldn't be the case here, that we'd get more. In fact, we might get less than we did in the last movie. Robert's mobility and his shots of him in motion are super limited. Chest up, barely any movement. When he does, it's a head, it's an arm. And I get it, it's a low budget, they don't have that thing, but it's like, why is Robert in this so little? Like, you can do that more. I mean, obviously, you can't use him a bunch because he's so limited as a character, but it just was kind of missing. I wish we had, and there's a lot of other dolls in this movie as well that are also, been animated, and they're barely used either. So, oh well. Funny little things that happen in this movie is like this guy is trying to hide from the Nazis, and the daughter of this family has the book that he wants, and he's like, I need the book. And she's, the mom's pushing him up like, you don't have any time. And the daughter is literally standing like a half a foot away from this guy. And you're just like, she doesn't have time to be like here, half a second, like 1 inch of it. It made me laugh, like, when I saw it. And then in the toy store that the guy is part of, I think he makes the toys for that toy store, and this girl runs it. There's clearly a Visa sticker, like, right by the register. I thought that was pretty funny. And I checked. Visa didn't come out until 1958, and this is 1941. I was like, well, maybe there was Visa. No, there was not. And the Toymaker, this whole movie, he reminded me of old David Lopan, Big Trouble in Little China. Especially when he's going at Gracie Law, and he's like got that little baby voice, and she like snips at him. He's like, woo! Like, that reminded me of the Toymaker's performance in this. I don't think that the guy's a bad actor, because I think his performance is mostly good. But there's moments in this movie where it's just total David Lopan. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he had some, if he took inspiration from that as well. I mean, it's a great fucking movie, so why not? So yeah, I look forward to 4. I liked this series. I am making sure I didn't miss anything here. Nope. So yeah, I don't know when that's going to come out, but when it does, I will definitely be checking it out, and I'll review it. But I mean, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. So for now, the Robert series is concluded, and those are my thoughts on it. All right.